Morning, Idaho. On this Tuesday, I'm Matt Sizemore. The last 4 months have been unlike any other. Dealing with job insecurity, social isolation, and concerns of catching COVID-19 are leading to an increase in stress and anxiety among Americans. In today's Finding Hope, our Karen Layer talks with a mental health expert who reminds us to stay focused on the things we can control.
We're all being stressed by the thought of infection, and we're all being stressed because our world has changed. Of course, one of the key challenges is there's still a lot of uncertainty.
Lockdowns may be lifted and restaurants reopened, but without any real progress toward controlling COVID-19, many people are finding themselves anxious about being around others.
We are social creatures by nature. I kind of wish we had not called it social distancing and had just called it physical distancing.
That's because while it's important to keep physically 6 feet or more from others, personal connection remains key.
Connection is very critically important. Use your telephones, use your mobile platforms, use your social websites to connect to other people, even though you can't necessarily be physically close to them.
For those forced to return to work without the option of staying home, Dr. Jim Polo recommends focusing on factors within your control.
We're recommending that everybody wear masks. So you can't control that that's the recommendation. What you can control is what kind of a mask you want to wear. Make it fun. Get one that is your favorite football team, or get one that's a color that you like. Focus on the things that you do control.
Dr. Polo says above all else, remember what you're feeling is normal and you're not alone.
It's important to talk about your feelings, but not get lost in them. Okay, so it's important to recognize everybody is going through the same stress right now, and we should recognize that. Give support to each other, but then get back to focusing on things that are productive that we need to do in the here and now.
Karen Layer, Idaho News 6.
And let's go back now over to Rachel Garceau for another check of the weather, and we're starting to crank up that heat, Rachel.
That we are waiting to see some of my forecast highs for the end of the week. We're talking record challenging heat. For today, though, let's get to what's on tap for your Tuesday. It will be hot, above average temperatures on tap once again today, and we continue the threat of some thunderstorms. So almost an identical setup to our Monday as far as those weather headlines go. We have a very warm start this morning. It is a comfortable Tuesday morning. We're already seeing some showers out there east of Boise. Some isolated storms are likely this afternoon, and that continues our high fire danger for this Tuesday. Now, as far as those temperatures go, check out where we're sitting right now. We're at 72 in Ontario and Boise, 73 in Mountain Home, still upper 60s in Twin Falls. And that is where all of the action has been happening out towards the Magic Valley. As we look at a current snapshot of our precipitation, you can see from right east of Hollister or west of Hollister, stretching towards Gooding and Fairfield, we are seeing some significant rainfall. Not so much in the Treasure Valley. We'll just have that mix of sun and clouds, but hot conditions still with a stray storm possible and a high of 97 in Boise.
Now, the Idaho News 6 traffic report, brought to you by Larry Miller.
Well, the time now is 6:34. Earlier this morning, we had an update for you regarding that water line break that caused delays on Cole Road yesterday. There is traffic back open in that area, that intersection of Cole Road and North U Street. Now, looking at your commute this morning, as we see just about every single morning, we're looking clear. If you're thinking about heading eastbound from Nampa into downtown Boise, we're seeing 22 minutes is what it's going to take you. And if you're heading reverse and you're going westbound from downtown Boise into Nampa, you're also looking at about a 22-minute commute.
Thank you, Frankie. It may not be ideal, but travelers will have an easier way to head north on Highway 95. ITD crews are busy clearing the way after a massive rock slide earlier this month closed the road. Even after last week's blasting, there's plenty of work that still needs to be done. ITD road crews have opened a temporary gravel road around the base of the slide during daytime hours.
We know we're going to have to do a little bit of rock removal, probably some slope reinforcement to get this thing mitigated for the long term. So definitely its impacts aren't over, but we're going to be in a much better spot than we were prior to this when we didn't have a good detour open.
Drivers must pay attention to flaggers and pilot cars in the area, and people can call 511 to see if things change before heading in that direction. The Community Planning Association of Southwest Idaho releases the results of its latest survey. Compass asked Ada and Canyon County residents for their thoughts on how the Treasure Valley could grow, looking for feedback specifically on 4 possible scenarios for the future. People also offered feedback that is on the most important regional values, ranking growth management, affordability, and environmental health as the top 3.
The feedback we got was great. It will lead towards developing a regional vision for growth. And with that vision for growth, we'll also have transportation projects and studies that will help us to achieve that vision.
Of the 4 scenarios on the survey, the Ticket to Ride scenario featuring rail service between Boise and Caldwell and a mix of housing options was the most popular. All results can be found on the Compass website. Despite an ongoing pandemic and all of its economic impacts, the Treasure Valley housing market remains hot. Whether it's because of school closures, job loss, or health reasons, people are picking up and relocating. But there's more than just packing and unpacking to think about. A new Better Business Bureau study finds scams are widespread in the moving industry, particularly when you're hiring movers. Scams typically start with a company that seems to be legitimate online, but provides you with a quote without a walkthrough, later demanding more money and threatening to hold your items hostage until you pay up. BBB suggests taking the time to do your research and make sure movers come to your house first for a quote.
And you also want to get it in writing. So get 3 quotes in writing before signing any kind of contract, and make sure in writing you're getting all those services that you've agreed upon. You also want to make sure your estimates are based on weight, not cubic feet. Oftentimes, fraudulent movers will quote you based on volume, which is easier to manipulate in the long run. And